Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It's Monday, April 29, 2019 at 4:53 p.m. in Toronto. So I made a video just now and I posted it and realized that about a third of the way through, the voice was stopped. So my videos are being interfered with as I make them. You can hear the ticks. I'm being scanned. These ticks occur when my body is being scanned. So if I were to um, turn on the microwave detector, it would actually go off with these ticks if the power is high enough. So let me continue where that video left off. So I was talking about dating, and I was comparing the way that Rohini Byssus life prior to the point where she did what she did, what took place, the step-by-step process that happened in her life, maybe about 10 years before that. It's a there's a lot of parallels that I'm finding from the bits and pieces that are reported about her story. There's not a whole lot of detail about what happened. There was a one-day trial, but there was, and she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. But I couldn't find exactly what happened, like exactly what happened on that day. Maybe it's in the court documents, but well, it will be in the court documents. Excuse me. Um, Hopefully. And I say that because sometimes court documents doesn't actually portray facts. Okay, so the step-by-step process that led to her being on the street, homeless, penniless, friendless, no contact or bad relationships with family throwing her out, obviously because she was on the street, um, and so completely and totally isolated from where she was. Um, it it uh, it it begs the question, given that she was. It begs the question as to what happened in reality, what really happened, um, given that she said that she was being experimented with. In my case, I know I'm being flagged. And because I'm like, being flagged, I'm locked out of the workplace. I'm being harassed out of the workplace because the contents of the file that's used to flag me has been released into the workplace. And I'm being harassed about it. And when I complain about what's going on, I'm being told that I'm mentally ill. Did that happen to Rohini Byssus? She talked about being gaslighted. She talked about being bullied. She talked about her work being degraded. And she had issues at work. The woman had an MBA. The quality of work would most likely be, on the higher side. But they degraded her ability, they being some of the coworkers I read, and probably related that to mental illness. Now she said she was hearing voices. She also said she was being experimented with. So my question is, why is it that the authorities do not investigate her claims that she was being experimented with? In my case, the flagging is being done by the cops. So the experimentation that I talk about, forming triggers, being monitored by people who are outsourcing, gangs that's outsourcing from the person who has the receipt. These people are experimenting on me to find things to report about me. These are all experimentations. They will use microwave signals, like I've demonstrated, to incite anger and to set me up and to make me look like I'm mentally ill. Get the reaction recorded, make me look like I'm mentally ill. These things are experiments. Now, if Rohini Byssus was flagged, and I'm assuming that she was because she was known to the police, then she was being monitored. Did the police outsource that monitoring? The white old men who showed up around her, were they police informants? Were they working with the person who had the receipt, who had the contract? Were they sent to her? Was she being trafficked remotely? Was she being accessed remotely? These are questions that should have been investigated, especially since she was saying that she was being experimented with. Now, the experimentation could have been a cover for trafficking. I'm being trafficked. Outsourcing of the monitoring is a cover for trafficking in my case. Is it exactly what happened to Rohini Byssus, step by step, to get her to the point where it looked like she was trafficking herself when really the men were being sent to her? It made her look that she was mentally ill, so she didn't really know what she was doing. She could be easily taken advantage of. She was desperate. She needed money, so she would sell herself to the men. But is it possible, as in my case, I'm being kicked out of the workplace because I'm being harassed, make it look like I really need the money, and then the men are sent my way by the traffickers, the clients who buy me remotely, and hopefully, and they're hoping, they're hoping to make it physical. Is that what's going on here? So these questions needs to be asked. They should have been asked. Why were they not asked? That's a really good question. In my case, the cops are flagging me. And the flag is a cover for experimentation and for trafficking. Rohini Byssus, was she flagged? Was she trafficked? Was she being experimented with? Was she being reported on? Was she being harassed out of her workplace to make it look like she can't keep a job? Was the skills degraded? Were the persons working with her reporting on her to the cops? Did they call the cops on her? Her family called the cops on her. Now, this is all not what I talked about here is not the use of remote technologies. This is infiltration. Infiltration to make somebody look like they're mentally ill, to act on a person in such a way to make them look like they're mentally ill. Voice it in her head, there are technologies to do that too if she's being experimented on. Voice to skull, subliminal messaging. And if she has a chip, well, obviously the chip can be a transmitter and a receiver. Now, there's trafficking going on all over the place in this world, all over. She was a beautiful woman. And when she was younger, then she would have been young and beautiful. Was she being trafficked since she came to Canada? These questions should be asked. If there are dirty policemen in the police force who are covering for this trafficking or taking part, both, and covering and taking part, then this needs to be addressed. This is corruption in the police force, and it needs to be addressed. Talk to you another time.